Welcome to our Knowledge 20 Healthcare Industry Specialist Series. You'll hear firsthand stories from our practitioners who help organizations leverage ServiceNow to get work done in new ways and apply lessons learned to drive towards the future of work. Introducing Healthcare Advisory Specialists from KPMG and ServiceNow. Hear their perspectives on functional and technical considerations and how we can elevate healthcare experiences using the power of ServiceNow.
Hi, I'm Jerry Brooks, Solution Director in KPMG's ServiceNow practice focused on the healthcare industry. I work with KPMG's Healthcare Advisory Leadership and ServiceNow's product strategy and sales teams to identify areas of opportunity in the healthcare market. So what we're seeing in the market in healthcare is that provider systems struggle with onboarding provider care teams and efficiently processing the credentialing, privileging, and enrollment tasks required for physician staff to begin providing patient care and billable services. We are joined by a panel of specialists. I'd like to introduce Matt Jansen in KPMG Healthcare Advisory, Drew Kerner, ServiceNow's Healthcare Chief Technology Officer, and Quentin Mackey in our KPMG HR Transformation Group. Matt, please introduce yourself, and then what kind of challenges are you seeing in the marketplace in regards to provider onboarding and credentialing, and what's the business problem that we're trying to solve?
Thanks, Jerry. So I'm a director within our healthcare and life sciences group, mostly focused on access and revenue operations. And within our access and revenue operations team, we have a group that's dedicated to looking at physician onboarding, credentialing, privileging, and enrollment practices within large health systems and large insurance providers. So with that sort of marketplace today, we're starting to see all kinds of difficulties with onboarding physicians. The acquisitions of multiple different types of practices within large health systems or within payer groups, we're starting to see a bottleneck of activity when we start looking at the processes. So we've seen some difficulties and some delays within the onboarding process of a physician that cost the system lots and lots of money. Not only that, but it also delays care to a lot of the patients that they're onboarding those physicians for. With that, we have set up a model and a framework for us to go in and do what we consider kind of like a very deep dive into the process of your program, your medical staffing services within your organization. There's a lot of moving parts these days within health systems. The technical architecture is evolving quicker and quicker every day. So we really take our time to map out the journey of a physician and how they're brought into the system from recruitment to the fact when they started working with HR, and then when they started building their portfolio for the credentialing, privileging, and enrollment staff to start to work them into their network. That process also has the opportunity for us to design metrics to take a look at the process. What's taking the most time? What are some of the more efficient ways of processing data, especially when you're dealing with multiple systems or you're dealing with a physician that has a very long history of practicing medicine. So when we have those types of things, and of course, the regulatory and the compliance arena as well continually changes at a state and national level when it comes to physicians. We have to take all that into consideration to build our business case for why you need a change. So when we start to build out the business case, we find, with some of these bottlenecks, it can be costing systems millions and millions of dollars every year. You think about the time it takes for a physician to get credentialed and privileged, they can then go to work. However, when you start billing for their services, maybe a little bit of a gap. So you want to shrink that gap as much as possible. Some things are out of your control when it comes to state, licensure or approvals and things like that. However, the closer you get and the shorter that period of time is, you end up really saving a lot of money. And the approach that we take is really working with the organizational alignment so that you have the buy-in of every major executive and leader within that organization. And it's a physician-led approach so that physicians help us design the process and then work with our credentialing, privileging, and enrollment staff to really enhance that. So some of the challenges that we're seeing in the marketplace today really have to deal with how we're addressing the patient journey, the business case, the current and future processes, the key performance indicators of a program, and of course, the underlying technology and how it all applies to the people that are running those organizations today.
Thanks, Matt. It sounds really complicated with a lot of touch points, and there's a lot of systems and integrations to consider. It's interesting to hear your perspective on it. Let's pivot over to Drew. So Drew, how about a quick introduction and then give us a sense of your personal experience working in a hospital provider system. What were the challenges that you had, and what does ServiceNow do to help solve some of those challenges?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been here at ServiceNow about 2.5 years, helping build up the healthcare practice. And previous to that, worked at a hospital system here in Colorado for about 10 years, as you mentioned, Jerry. And one of the things that I saw as a challenge was we onboarded 100 doctors and their staff in the last year alone. And back to Matt's point, it was an extremely complicated process. It took anywhere from 6 to 9 months, and really depended and varied depending on the type of doctor, as well as where they were coming into the practice as well. So there's a lot of complexity in that process. And we even recently went through this steps with a system in the Midwest where their least complicated onboarding process was 100 steps. And the reason for that is, as Matt mentioned as well, is there's coordination between the credentialing teams, between HR, IT, security, occupational health. And that's basically a very complicated workflow with sometimes serial, sometimes parallel approval steps. And to Matt's point, mapping that out is critical to know what that end state looks like. And if you can look towards the value of shaving a week or even a month off of that process, those doctors bill at a rate of anywhere from 100K to 500K a week, depending on the practice. So we can expedite that time and get them to take care of patients faster. That's really the goal that we're looking to do as part of this process.
Yeah, it's interesting. So from a personal experience, my sister is a physician's assistant, and I remember when she landed her dream job, she was so excited, but she was super frustrated because she had to sit like 3 months before she could actually get to work and start working. So yeah, it just seems like that process is extraordinary and like unnecessary, right? So as ServiceNow's healthcare CTO, can you describe the platform product development strategy and give some insights on what ServiceNow is seeing in the market and what appear to be critical needs?
Yeah, so the great thing is, even since I've started, we've recently hired a healthcare general manager, as well as an actual product team aligned to them as well. And that's really with the direction of our new CEO, Bill McDermott, is to push industry specifically. So I'm just delighted the fact that we're going to be building out healthcare specific products in the near future. And the great thing is we've already been working with the KPMG team to roll out this onboarding and credentialing use case even before they came on board. So the cool thing is I think we're going to start to standardize and see these products be rolled out. And just to take a step back, one of the things that we're focusing on, or if you take the corporate initiative that ServiceNow has around customer workflows, employee workflows, and IT workflows, our customers on the healthcare side are the patients. Our IT customers are the clinicians, and then we split out IT and security. So we're really building solutions around those 4 specific areas of patient, clinician, IT, and security. And again, this is really our first foray into that market with KPMG around the clinician onboarding and credentialing solution.
Well, we definitely appreciate the collaboration. It's been fun. It's been a fun ride so far, and looking forward to a lot more to come. So Quentin, how about let's get you a quick introduction, then provide your thoughts on how the HR digital team is helping healthcare organizations address these challenges.
Thank you, Jerry. Happy to be here in this distinguished panel. So like you said, I'm part of the KPMG HR digital team, and our team is responsible for overall HR transformation and employee experience with our powered HR solution, which is enabled by ServiceNow. Prior to COVID, addressing the challenges of clinician onboarding and credentialing was already priority for us. So the current events just accelerated our focus and help us account for this new reality. So one of the top challenges on clinician onboarding on a normal day accounted for, so many steps, and so many of those steps were manual. In addition to that, we've also been able to focus on how can we rapidly onboard these clinicians as well, right? Like I said, due to the current events. So what we have done in partnership with ServiceNow is we've extended our powered HR methodology, which is a 6-layer methodology for clinician onboarding and credentialing. And in those 6 layers, the areas that we cover is one is we bring to the table practices on what good looks like for a target operating model. Basically, where and who executes the work. Then we look at the roles and job descriptions that are needed to enable this transformation. After that, like I said, this is enabled by ServiceNow technology. And so we have already over 150 predefined processes and workflows that we can leverage. And so what this leads to is having a faster return on investment for our customers. So instead of sitting in workshops and trying to figure out what the future state looks like, we bring that future state to the table with our leading practices. And now these turn into vision workshops where it's more vision and validate. And then after we do that, we make sure that we have operational and strategic metrics and analytics to measure success as we go forward, but also for continuous improvement. And this is all underpinned by a governance model for ongoing maintenance of the solution, as well as the overall process for it. As I was saying, the 6-layer model provides the best-in-class pre-built assets and support configurations enabled by ServiceNow. And basically, it helps to reduce the risk as well as automate those manual tasks so we can have a better overall approach, but also in closing, a better off experience for both the clinician as well as the specialists that are helping them through this process.
Yeah, it's great to have leverage our powered approach to bring this to market because it's something that we believe we can bring to a lot of other clients in the marketplace too, and to have an accelerator around it's going to be really important. I think we're seeing a tremendous amount of excitement from our customers, on this topic, on provider onboarding and credentialing. I really appreciate your guys' time. It's been fun to have you on this panel. If you had to leave us with a few key takeaways, what would they be? So Matt, what would a couple of key takeaways be from your perspective?
Yeah, so Jerry, we've kind of brought it all together on this call here, and I think it's really important that we're working collectively within our health systems. Today's new COVID-19 reality is a challenge for many health systems. So as many physicians as we can get to work quicker, and of course the quicker we can restart our health systems and help them to start generating revenue again and start seeing patients more efficiently and effectively, I think this is going to help really ignite a new type of healthcare design, a new kind of healthcare paradigm. So that really having an understanding of and have visibility into the bottlenecks of your process and of your medical staffing services is a key factor. You really have to look in now and fix as much as you can and work with some of the newer technologies and newer platforms. Work we're doing with ServiceNow has been long overdue. We've been working in this industry for many, many years with a lot of different vendors in the space. Now we've all brought it together. And I think that's one of the most important things that we've seen is we now have a very well-oiled machine that can go to market and really answer provide some of the solutions that I think our systems are looking for today.
So Drew, any final thoughts?
If I look back to my time at the hospital and that onboarding those clinicians, I like to say maybe that's why I don't have any hair left, similar to our other panelists. But the reality is, man, it would have been great to have a solution like this in place. And one thing, and I think Quentin and Matt both touched on this, is we talk about how COVID is really driving digital transformation from a ServiceNow standpoint and in general. And this new norm in healthcare is really going to be interesting to see what happens. And the key to this too, even if you apply the onboarding and credentialing to COVID, and now we're going to see folks go back to work that were furloughed potentially. Again, there's even a process to get them back to work more rapidly, and obviously we can help with that. And the other thing to this too is just an overall theme of consumerizing the whole experience. And that's one thing we do with KPMG and with the solution in general is, why can't we get that Amazon-like experience? And so we can do this all via mobile and have all those approvals happen mobily, since most folks are on the phone constantly, and just the overall consumeration of the patient care experience is something we're looking to do on the ServiceNow side as well.
Excellent. Quentin, how about you, my friend?
To piggyback on what Drew said there about, for the experience for the clinicians as they onboard. So it's not only providing that consumer grade experience on the front end via portal or mobile, but also, what helps is the automation and of those manual steps to make the process not only smoother but faster as well. So let's get those clinicians doing what they do best, right, in front of patients and seeing patients. And lastly, I would say our solution gives organizations the ability to scale based on business needs and adjustments, right? Especially we're in an ever fluid situation right now, right? As we go, every day is a new day and new market disruptions come to bear. And so our overall solution helps customers being able to scale to those disruptions or even business needs that change from time to time. So, to draw on an example, a couple of our customers, they were able to stand up, additional HR services, portals, as well as communications to their staff in 24 to 48 hours as this COVID situation kept unfolding.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time on the panel. Your insights are always appreciated, and thank you, folks, for tuning into our channel on this session. I hope you were able to get a lot out of it. Please be sure to check out some of our other content on the healthcare channel. We've got some great things out there and perspectives for you to view and peruse. And also, please be sure to check out the healthcare keynote. So that's being conducted between Mike Lucy's, the ServiceNow's healthcare general manager, Drew Kerner, who just spoke on this panel, healthcare CTO, and one of our senior partners in our consulting advisory practice in healthcare, Vince Vickers. Some really great insights on what's happening in the healthcare market today and how ServiceNow and enabling technology and workflows can help solve for some of those issues.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in to some of our other content featured in the Knowledge 20 Healthcare Industry Channel lineup, including a demo titled Healthcare Solutions, Ideas That Flow, which will feature a look into our provider onboarding and credentialing solution. In the meantime, learn more by visiting us at kpmg.us/K20digital.